Hello everybody, I am that one punk, and today we are talking music. You like music, right? Be weird if you didn't. You'd be the only one. But music has a profound effect on all of us, I would say, and some of us it affects more than others. So today I am going through some of the music that saved me. In other words, music that got me through really tough times in my life and that I want to highlight in a video like this one. Before we get started, please remember to like this video if you like it, dislike it if you don't, and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to do this more often than I have been. I am finally motivated enough to make videos, edit videos, and I like making this content. So if you want to see more from me, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, do whatever. And I have a Patreon in the description if you want to give me money. I don't think you should, but if you want to, it starts at $1. If you can spare it, anything helps. So, music. We all like different kinds of it, unless you're that weirdo who only listens to one genre and hates people who listen to other genres. I'm talking about you metalheads. But my music taste is wide and varied. I like it that way. I like being able to listen to whatever I want. So we're going to go genre by genre and talk about some of the albums that have had a profound effect on me in my life. And we have to start with the most respectable, well-liked genre that there is. Ska. Don't you click off this video. You clicked on it. I need that watch time retention. If you don't know, ska is a proto-reggae that had a resurgence in the 70s in England and in the 90s in the US, mixing with punk to make ska punk, and that is the type of music that I enjoyed a lot as a teenager. Probably around ages 15 to 19, I was very much into ska. And the album to get me into ska, people who like ska are gonna hate it. People who don't like ska already hate it. It's Turn the Radio Off by Real Big Fish. Laugh all you want, laugh all you want. I love Real Big Fish. No, they don't take themselves seriously that often. Yes, they are more of a parody of themselves now than they were back then, but fuck you. Real Big Fish is awesome. They were the first show I ever paid to see with my own money, and they put on one hell of a show. I've seen them 3 times in total. Still waiting on that refund for that 2020 tour. Never got it. Aaron, please. But Turn the Radio Off was their sophomore album that kickstarted their popularity in the ska scene for a very limited time. R.I.P. 90s ska. With songs like Sell Out and Beer being radio hits all across the country. And while those are amazing songs, they aren't the songs that I connected to personally. While those songs were definitely ones that caught my attention, the song that got me coming back was Nothing.
Every time I try so hard to get nothing, they say try, you won't better get nothing.
A song that has a very simple premise. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, all you end up with in life is nothing. Big Fish goes on, they get more and more positive, but I love how they started with this very nihilistic view of the world that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, at the end of the day, nothing is owed to you, and you will get nothing. Not just like that, but you can hear the cynicism they have with songs like Join the Club and Trendy, where they don't really like the music they're making, but they're making it because it'll get them popular. I love when bands prove themselves right. That cynicism carried over into other albums like We're Not Happy. What's that album called? And that cynicism carried over with other albums like We're Not Happy Till You're Not Happy and Monkeys for Nothing and the Chimps for Free. That last album, it doesn't look real, I know, but I promise you it's real, and it's probably one of their better albums. Songs from those albums adding more to the idea of don't make music, it's not worth it, nothing in life is worth it, just die. But they do have a couple outliers in their music, like the album Cheer Up. Cheer Up is a much more positive album with a more positive outlook on aspects of their lives, like love, friends, and all that sort of stuff. The title track is a great track whenever I'm feeling a bit down and need to be reminded that everybody has down days. Nobody in this life is really made for success. You gotta go out and make it yourself. But it also ends with in my opinion, a masterpiece of a song, Drunk Again.
'Cause now I'm drunk again. With me to my end.
It's not even a ska song, it's a horribly depressing and terrifying ballad of losing yourself after a relationship and drowning your sorrows with alcohol and other worldly pleasures. It is a tough listen. It is, whew, it's something. It's definitely a more mature song than most people are prepared for with a band like Real Big Fish. But that's not the only ska band to have an effect on me. Let's move on to a band closely associated with them, Less Than Jake. Less Than Jake also came out in the ska punk boom of the 90s, and I think are one of the better acts to come from that big boom. While I know a lot of people like their earlier albums, I like the stuff they came out with later, especially their album, Anthem. While the entire album isn't, exactly stuff I enjoy, they do have a few songs that got me through a lot, like The Science of Selling Yourself Short. This is a nice track about just being fed up with being lonely, done, down on your luck, and drunk. All these songs really like talking about getting drunk when you're depressed. It's sad. And they also have another song called Look What Happened, which is about looking back into your life and remembering all the regrets, mistakes, and embarrassments you've had over the years, but promising yourself that that's the end and you are going to only go up from here. It's a great album. Again, not everything is my cup of tea on it. I think I much prefer Hello Rockview in that sort of sense, but the songs from Anthem had more of an impact on me, so that's why it's in this video. And our last stop on the ska train will be one of the more respected, members of the ska scene, Streetlight Manifesto, with their album, Everything Went Numb. I remember when I first discovered ska, I was only listening to bands like Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and then I listened to some two-tone like The Specials and the Scatolites. But when I discovered Streetlight Manifesto, I realized, man, ska can be a lot more than people make it out to be.
When we fall, we will fall together. No one will catch us, I will catch ourselves.
Especially with an album like Everything Went Numb, it is a much more grungy album, and it sounds angry about everything. With the title track, Everything Goes Numb, you get this sense of not really conforming to anything society wants you to conform with, and just being your own person. And then you get more of that message through stuff like Point, Counterpoint, A Moment of Violence, and A Moment of Silence. It is a great little album when you're feeling rebellious but don't want to listen to hardcore punk. Fair. And I do love me some more Streetlight Manifesto. I think all their albums are absolutely amazing, but Everything Went Numb came to me at a time when I was numb. So it's an album I listen to a lot when I'm disassociating and not feeling real, and it sort of brings me back down to reality. Finally leaving the ska scene, I know a lot of you did not want to listen to all that. We move on to something ska adjacent, punk rock. And of course, I love me some punk, but I only wanted to put one punk album on here because I didn't want another hour-long video. I really didn't mean for that last video to be an hour long, but here we are. Woo! And which punk album do I choose? It's in the thumbnail. It's Out of Step by Minor Threat. A 30-minute masterpiece. I don't really know what I can say that hasn't been said already. If you know anything about punk or even music in general, you know about Out of Step and the big societal impact it had as an album. Its title track was a perfect anthem for the straight edge community that Ian MacKaye accidentally made and hates. Community I'm a part of. Woo! It's a perfect song that encapsulates the feeling of not being one with the world, being strange, being the odd one out, and being okay with it. Not just that, the album also talks a lot about relationships, losing friendships, losing important people in your life, and moving forward because that's the only thing you can do. It also has a great song called Cashing In, which is a perfect song about how people will take a music genre that's meaningful and use it just to make money, and they are often the most popular in the genre. I fucking love the music industry. It's a great album. If you haven't heard it, go listen to it. Again, it only takes like 30 minutes to get through it. To get through their entire discography, it only takes like an hour. They weren't a very long-lived band. Fugazi did a lot more, but you know, it is what it is. Moving out of the rock genre in general, I have the only rap album on here, Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly.
I'm at the preacher's door, my knees getting weak and my gun might blow, but we gon' be alright.
I do not listen to rap and hip-hop that much. There are artists I do like, but it's just not my cup of tea most of the time. The topics and lyrics are usually not something I want to listen to, but there are the few artists who really do capture what I want in rap music, and Kendrick Lamar is at the tippy top of what I want out of rappers. Especially with To Pimp a Butterfly, which I personally think is a masterpiece album. The album dropped when I was first discovering my symptoms of depression, which I now know to be bipolar disorder, and the 2-track pairing of I and You was perfect to encapsulate how I would feel during my manic episodes. From being on top of the world, loving yourself, loving life, wanting nothing more than to be alive and do everything you want to do, to those crushing lows of You where you do nothing but talk down to yourself, hate yourself, and wish you were dead. It's a fun album. But of course, those aren't the only tracks on there. You also have the big hit track, All Right, which is an amazing track for when you're feeling great and you know things may not go your way, but at the end of the day, you'll be okay. And why not have some fun while you're alive, eh? I'm not going to talk about the political side of the album because, if I'm honest, I am not educated enough to talk about the impact this had on African American culture. If you want to tell me about it, that's awesome. I just have a deep personal connection with it because of when it came out, what it talks about, and how much I love Kendrick as an artist. Now, if only he didn't take 15 years to make an album. Delving back into the rock genre, I have something industrial. What industrial band will I pick? Probably what some will call the poser choice, 9 Inch Nails with their first album, Pretty Hate Machine. I love pretty much all of 9 Inch Nails albums, even their more experimental weird stuff that Lil Nas X sampled. That's true, look it up. But Pretty Hate Machine is the album I find myself going back to listen to the most because it feels the most personal, maybe other than the Downward Spiral, but again, that's more of a concept album, so I don't know if it really counts, or the semantics and all that. But Pretty Hate Machine has some great songs about personal introspection, like with Down In It, Something I Can Never Have, and even introspective stuff about capitalism with Head Like a Hole. It's all really good. I mean, you know it. It's 9 Inch Nails. You've all heard it. I don't need to tell you how good it is. I can say listening to a song like Down In It or Something I Can Never Have while going through some of the worst of my depressive episodes, it's something. I can tell you, it's something. I do also like listening to the Downward Spiral quite a bit. But that gets a little too depressing sometimes to where I can't handle listening to it, so Pretty Hate Machine gets to be on the list. Woo! Next, we have a band that needs no introduction, System of a Down, with their hit, Toxicity. I could put literally any System of a Down album on here and have a justified reason in doing so. I chose Toxicity because of one song. Aerials.
'Cause we are the ones that wanna play, always wanna go, but you never wanna stay.
I discovered that I was having dissociative episodes fairly recently, and when I would have them without my medication, Aerials was a song that I would constantly put on to remind myself that I am real, I have an identity, and I deserve to live. Not to say the rest of the album doesn't warrant a good listen throughs, chop suey. I don't need to tell you how great of a song that is. Toxicity, don't need to tell you how great of a song that. I don't need to tell you how good System of a Down is. Everyone knows how good System of a Down is. But I want to sort of give you some other options from other albums that they have. I'll give one from each album of a song that has a deep personal connection to me off their self-titled. That's a bit harder because it's a bit more of a political album. I mean, all their albums are political, but it has definitely more of a leaning towards politics than the rest of the albums do when they get a bit more personal. But if I had to choose one that was personally connected to me, I'll go with Soil. I like Soil a lot. I haven't been in that situation before that they talk about, but if I ever am, God forbid, I'll have a song about it. Steal This album has a bit more to choose from, but personally, Roulette is a song I listen to a lot. It has lyrics I think I can relate to of feeling like you're not the same person anymore and wondering if the people around you are even people you want to be around anymore, and it's can get to you in certain situations. Off of Mesmerize, you gotta... There's a lot to choose from. Mesmerize is quite the album. It is... I don't know, what could I choose from Mesmerize? Lost in Hollywood. Lost in Hollywood is good. That's the one. While it is very literal about its lyrics, where it's just, don't go to Hollywood, I can see definitely a warning of just, don't follow your dreams too hard. Be realistic about things, or else you may fall to the trap. That is life. And off of Hypnotize, what other choice do I have than Lonely Day? It's the perfect song for any situation. Have a death in the family, listen to Lonely Day. Get broken up with, listen to Lonely Day. Feeling lonely, listen to Lonely Day. There is a System of a Down song for every mood. I absolutely love them. They are my favorite band of all time. I wish John would get his shit together, and I wish they would tour the US one last time, but hey, what are you gonna do? I guess I'll pay $2,000 to go to Sick New World, because I definitely have $2,000 to spare. And the final artist we're going to be talking about today, well, you've been seeing him throughout this whole video, Frank Turner. Specifically the album Positive Songs for Negative People.
I got me a shovel, and I'm digging a ditch.
I discovered Frank Turner in a weird way. I discovered him through a Wrestling with Regret video, where he talked about wrestlers in music videos, and mentioned the music video for The Next Storm. I checked out the song, loved it. Checked out the album, cried. It is a beautifully written album that deals with themes of depression, heartbreak, loss, the Challenger space shuttle for some reason. That's a weird song. It's weird because the album like has a theme of, you know, personal loss, and then you just talk about the Challenger shuttle and that. Off topic, whatever. His music, I hate using the phrase, but it's the only thing that makes sense to me. His music saved my life. He came to me. He didn't come to me. That'd be weird. His music came to me at a time when I was at my lowest. I was undiagnosed bipolar. I did not know what was happening in my brain. I felt like I was going crazy, and his music made me feel a little more comfortable with my mental state, because it made me feel like someone else had been through what I've been through. In songs like Mittens, where he talks about unrequited love, a situation we've all been in, or Song for Josh, which is a horribly depressing song about losing one of your friends to self-unaliving. I love YouTube censorship, it's my favorite. He also has those positive songs like Get Better. Why'd I say it like that? Get Better. He also has positive songs like Get Better, which is about, well, if you're not dead, you can do more to make your life what you want it to be. And it's a song I listen to all the time, whether I'm depressed or at my high points. It's just a perfect song. Also songs like Out of Breath, where again he talks about everyone's gonna die, so why not make life what you want to make it while you're alive. And that is a simple yet important message to instill in people. His music as a whole has helped me a lot throughout my life. All of his albums, except for Be More Kind and No Man's Land, those were strange albums, have had some sort of impact on me in one way or another. Tape Deck Heart has some amazingly tragic songs about loss, heartbreak, loneliness, and of course getting better. England Keep My Bones doesn't really have a central theme through it, but songs like Peggy Sang the Blues and I Am Disappeared are amazingly written and absolutely lovely.
Doesn't matter where you come from, it matters where you go.
His song Redemption off that album is the song I listen to the most when I am lonely. Listen to it, you'll understand why. And I saw Frank last year in July, and it was the most religious experience I have ever had at a concert. He is absolutely wonderful live. He is a wonderful human being. If you have the chance to go see him, I highly suggest you do, even though he doesn't really tour the US that much. Please come back. I want to see you again. I've never felt that way before. I'm in love with... That's it. That is the music that comes to mind when I talk about music that helped me throughout my trying times. I'm sure there are other artists I could bring up, but I will probably save it for another video, whether it's a topic like this or another topic I have saved for the future. I like talking about music. I love music. Music and film are two very important mediums to me, and they will be what I talk about the most on this channel, more than likely. But if you like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you disliked it, leave a dislike. It all helps me in the algorithm. If you have any bands, albums, or songs that helped you throughout some trying times, leave them in the comments. I love to find new music and figure out what connections I have with people. Again, I have a Patreon in the description. If you feel like giving me money, I don't suggest you do, but if you want to, it's there. Also, I have a Discord in the description. Come join the pit. There's no one there yet. I want a nice group of people to talk to and get to know, especially early in my YouTube career. And again, if you like what you see and want to see what I have next, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you can actually get notified when I upload next. And until next time, I've been That One Punk. Peace.